right? With the sanctuary city, free hotels, free food, free daycare, free medical care, they want to stay here.
Hundreds came out here as we pan, and we'll show you all the people out here, and some of them already left.
What that means for us in New York City is another surge in migrants arriving at our doors.
Today, hundreds of black migrants, many from African countries, showed up at City Hall demanding better treatment.
Many of them speaking French, but what I found is that they were here to plead with the city for more resources.
Thousands of migrants that have made their way into this country have come to New York, putting a strain on some of the city's services.
Migrants at New York City Hall. Alright, so picture this. New York City Hall buzzing with energy as hundreds of migrants, mostly economic migrants, not your typical refugee crew, flock together for a big powwow. What's the occasion? Well, it's a hearing focusing on the black migrant experience. Yep, you heard that right. Now why the fuss? These folks are here to tackle some serious issues: language barriers, cultural know-how, health stuff, and all those nitty-gritty problems newcomers face when trying to navigate the Big Apple. You can imagine, it's not all Broadway shows and bagels for everyone. But here's where it gets interesting. These migrants aren't just here to air their gripes, they're hungry for more. And by hungry, I mean they want it all. Freebies, that is. We're talking free passes to anywhere and everywhere. And let's not forget about those sanctuary city perks. A roof over their heads, 3 square meals a day, daycare for their kiddos, and even a doctor's visit thrown in for good measure. You can almost hear the chorus of "gimme, gimme, gimme" echoing through the streets. And who can blame them? New York City's got a reputation for being the land of dreams, but it ain't cheap to live the dream. So they're here, outside City Hall, waving their banners and making their voices heard.
Right, with the sanctuary city, free hotels, free food, free daycare, free medical care, they want to stay here.
Hundreds of migrants from African countries are rallying down at City Hall. They're calling for better quality of life.
Today, hundreds of black migrants, many from African countries, showed up at City Hall demanding better treatment.
Can't fault them for that. But let's not forget the backdrop. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. There's tensions in the air, a clash of cultures and expectations. Reporters trying to get the scoop are met with blank stares and maybe a touch of frustration. After all, when you're juggling languages and trying to make yourself heard, it can get a bit messy. So that's the scene, a melting pot of hopes, dreams, and a whole lot of demands. Whether City Hall can deliver on these dreams, well, that's a whole other story. But for now, the migrants are out in force, ready to make their mark on the city that never sleeps. Concerns and tensions. Alright, let's talk about the not-so-rosy side of things. Picture this, reporters trying to dig for a story amidst a sea of migrants, but hitting a brick wall of language barriers and good old-fashioned frustration. Yep, tensions are running high, especially among the single adult fellas who might not be too keen on having a camera shoved in their face. And there's the buzz around town. New Yorkers ain't exactly thrilled about the whole shebang. Safety concerns? You betcha. With all these newcomers pouring in, folks are wondering if the city can handle the load. And it's not just about squeezing onto the crowded subways, it's about the strain in resources too. One grandma, bless her heart, poured out her grief over losing her granddaughter to an incident involving an illegal immigrant. It's heavy stuff, reminding everyone that there's more at stake here than just politics and paperwork. So yeah, tensions are simmering, concerns are mounting, and the whole situation's got folks on edge. It's a reminder that behind all the rhetoric and rallies, there are real people with real worries.
New York City is seeing a sharp increase in the number of asylum seekers from Latin America.
Hundreds came out here as we pan, and we'll show you all the people out here, and some of them already left.
Many of them speaking French, but what I found is that they were here to plead with the city for more resources.
And navigating those waters ain't always smooth sailing. But hey, that's New York for you, full of ups, downs, and everything in between. Migrant evictions in NYC. So picture this, New York City, the Big Apple, bustling with life, right? Well, it turns out there's some serious shuffling going on behind the scenes. They're kicking migrants out of long-standing shelters to brace for what they're calling a summer surge of illegal immigration. Yep, you heard that right. The Department of Homeless Services is basically sending eviction notices to family shelters, telling them, sorry folks, gotta make room for the influx, with barely enough time for these migrants to pack up their lives. Now you'd think the shelters could put up a fight, right? Not so fast. When one of the big dogs in the family shelter game spilled the beans that they can just tell the city to buzz off. It's like they're caught between a rock and a hard place. Wynn's throwing shade at the city, calling this whole eviction circus cruel and senseless. And you can't blame them. Imagine trying to keep your kids stable through school while you're getting tossed around like a hot potato. But here's the kicker, the city's got a grand plan. They want to clear out certain shelters specifically for migrants. They're making space, folks. But Wynn's not having it. They're worried sick about the whole thing, rightly so. This could really throw a wrench in the lives of these families. And guess who's pointing fingers at Uncle Sam? Yeah, the DHS spokesperson straight up blaming the federal government for dropping the ball on funding. They're like, hey, don't look at us, we're doing our best, but we need some cash flow, okay? So there you have it. New York City's in the crazy eviction tango, trying to shuffle folks around like a game of musical chairs, all pointing fingers at the feds for not ponying up the dough.
New York City is set to begin the process of evicting migrant families from city-run shelters,
reaching the 60-day limit now imposed on their stay. Another mess for this crisis.
More scrutiny over Mayor Adams' 60-day shelter limit for migrant families. Tomorrow, families exceeding the 60-day stay will be told to leave and reapply for housing. Today, a rally took place in Lower Manhattan.
Mayor Eric Adams responds. Alright, let's talk about Mayor Eric Adams and his take on this whole migrant crisis hitting the Big Apple. First off, Adams is not holding back on the drama. He's sounding the alarm bells, warning everyone within earshot about the serious impact this migrant influx is having on NYC. Picture him on the podium, shaking his head saying, folks, this is gonna mess things up big time if we don't act fast. So what's he doing about it? Well, he's not exactly rolling in dough himself. Adams is turning to the folks up in Albany, banging on their doors, asking for some serious cash to cover the costs. He's like, hey, we need help over here, can't do this alone. But here's where it gets tricky. There's this whole money mess going on. The state and the city are playing this back and forth game, trying to figure out who's gonna foot the bill. It's like a budgetary tug of war, and Adams is caught in the middle, trying to make ends meet. And let's not forget about the feds. Yeah, they're throwing in a bit of cash, but it's like tossing a drop in the bucket compared to what's needed.
Gotten the whole $150 million. We have a $4 billion price tag. What that means for us in New York City is another surge in migrants arriving at our doors.
And Mayor Adams says the city urgently needs federal money and resources to provide support.
Thousands of migrants that have made their way into this country have come to New York, putting a strain on some of the city's services.
Adams is feeling the pressure, knowing that Uncle Sam's wallet might not stretch as far as they'd hope. It's leaving everyone with this uneasy feeling, wondering if help's gonna come in time. So that's the scoop on Mayor Adams and his dance with the migrant crisis. He's shooting from the rooftops about the problems it's causing, knocking on doors for help, and crossing his fingers for a bigger slice of the funding pie. Let's see if NYC can weather this storm. Chic hotel turned shelter. Imagine strolling down Broadway, the pulse of New York City's theater district, where every corner exudes glamour and excitement. Now picture a chic hotel nestled in the heart of this bustling scene, quietly playing a role you'd never expect as a sanctuary for migrants. Yep, you heard it right. The Square Hotel, standing tall at 226 West 50th Street, isn't just a swanky spot for tourists anymore. It's been undercover as a migrant shelter for over a year now. You might wonder what led to this unexpected twist. Well, in a city known for its resilience, the migrant crisis has hit hard. With over 100 city hotels agreeing to open their doors to those seeking refuge, the Square Hotel joined the ranks, trading plush beds and fancy amenities for a noble cause. It's a decision that's raised eyebrows and sparked debates. Some argue that hotels are taking the easy road by housing migrants instead of tourists, while others see it as a lifeline for those in need. But amidst the chaos, stories of hope and perseverance emerge. Take Jesus Del Bear, for instance, a migrant who refused to give up on his dreams despite months of job hunting. His resilience echoes through the halls of the Square Hotel, reminding us that amidst uncertainty, hard work can lead to brighter days. Of course, not everyone sees it that way. Theater-goers like Nina and retirees like Judy Rudman share mixed feelings about the situation. While empathy tugs at their hearts, concerns about safety and city management linger in their minds. It's a complex issue that reflects the diversity of opinions in the Big Apple. As the city grapples with the migrant influx, Mayor Eric Adams is taking steps to address the growing costs and challenges. Setting limits on shelter stays is just one part of the puzzle, but it's a step in the right direction. So what does the future hold for the Square Hotel and other makeshift shelters across NYC? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, in a city where dreams are born and reinvention is name of the game, every challenge is met with resilience and resourcefulness. And who knows, maybe one day, the Square Hotel will reclaim its spot in the limelight, with tales of its migrant shelter days adding a chapter to its colorful history. That's all for this video, folks. See you next time.